148.
Like when you kick one through, do you think to yourself, 147?
No, I don't think that actually. And Jerry reminded me a couple weeks ago that I was close, and I was like, no, don't tell me that. Yeah, and during the game, kind of before, I was like, I need to hit 2 more of these to beat this record, and I totally forgot until after the 3rd kick. I was like, wow. So, yeah, it was an exciting thing. So I didn't think about it on that particular kick, but I did remember the one right after.
What is the key to not missing extra points?
I think that, obviously it's not a hard kick, it's not a long kick. It's really just being able to lock in, that many times, especially on a big score, a big touchdown. A lot of people kind of get caught up, and then that's when you end up missing one. So, but a lot of the credit goes out to the line, the snapper and holder. They've done it 148 times in a row, not let anybody get through, not had a bad snap battle. They've always gotten the ball down. So it's really not a hard kick to make if everyone else does their job. So.
Did you go home and celebrate?
Not really. We won. Yeah. No, I got a couple congrats from friends and family and stuff. So it was exciting, but never knew PATs would be my claim to fame. So I'll take it though. Yeah, right.
Well, enjoy it now because in the league it's a little different.
Yeah, no, it is for sure.
Urban was talking about some of the changes you made. Was it just like with your workout regime and stuff to like?
Yeah.
That's helped you increase your leg strength.
Yeah, and I think the first couple of years I was here, I was kind of scared of the weight room and scared of Coach Mick and everybody, so I kind of stayed away and didn't kind of use that, to my advantage. I think the last year and a half, I've really kind of grown up. I love the weight room now, and I understand how much it helps me. So this off season, I really did a ton extra with Coach Quinn, one of the strength coaches. A lot of extra strength stuff with my legs all summer long. Did some extra leg workouts, and it's really helped me get that strength back that I kind of lost getting hurt last year. And during the spring I had no chance of hitting a 60-yarder, not even close really. The extra work over the summer finally got that back. I'm popping 60-yarders again, so it's really paid off, really taking advantage of the weight room.
When you have a groin issue,
right,
how long does it take before the weight room is a place that you're not afraid to let it go in? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I think that, the rehab was the first couple months. All I was worried about is the rehab stuff, right? And then just kind of thinking, if I go too hard in the weight room, I'm just going to hurt myself again. So I might as well just not do this at all. I'm just going to do the rehab. And I think once I got through the spring and, I wasn't hitting the ball as far, but there wasn't really the pain there. Once I got to a couple months pain-free, then I kind of realized that now I need to really kind of step my game up, get back in the weight room, or else it's not just going to come back naturally, what you've lost. So
were there times, there were times where you skipped weight training?
Not skipped, but I didn't do the extra stuff that I needed to get back. I lost some of that strength last year, and it's not just going to come back. Right. So in a lot of that strength I kind of had naturally coming in freshman year, that I kind of lost. The only way to get that back is doing extra. And to me, I just kind of did the normal stuff, and clearly it wasn't working. I came out in the spring, wasn't kicking the ball that well, didn't have the strength and power until I started doing the extra stuff, and that's what kind of got me back to that point. So.
Sean, did you use last year as motivation coming into this season?
Yeah, and there's really no one to be mad at but myself, and I got hurt, and all I could really do was use it as motivation. I guess I couldn't, really be mad at anyone else about it. But yeah, it really sucks sitting out a year. I ended 15 well, kicked really well in the spring of 16, and then a couple days before camp I get hurt, so it's really crappy. Especially I really thought last year was going to be my year to come out, and kill it. So kind of getting that taken away, really sucked. So yeah, no, it feels good being back out there.
Sean, on this kickoffs, 40 or 4-second hang time on the 2 inside the numbers. How hard is that to do? Is that realistic?
It is realistic. It is hard. I think the hardest thing for me this year has been, a lot of guys, they spend all off season kicking off, kind of preparing for that. I didn't do that. I really didn't start kicking off till a couple weeks ago. I spent this whole off season just on field goals, and kind of didn't even worry about the kicking off part. Coming off the groin injury, wanted to play it safe. I think we all did. So it's one of those things you really have to work on, and really, it's not just going out. A lot of people can go out and just bang the ball as far as you can, which is a lot different than kind of placing the ball like that. It's still 65 yards away, and kind of getting it in a 5x5 square takes a lot of practice. So I think that's the main thing for me, is just practicing over and over and over. It's not something that you can just kick 10, 15 times and you can do it, And especially when you do get a little wind, being able to hit the ball through that, I think that's the main problem that I had on some of the bad kickoffs that I had the other day. So it's getting better. I'm getting more practice now. I'm like 4 or 5 weeks into kicking off again, so it's getting a lot more consistent, a lot better.
But it's doable.
Yeah, it is doable. Yeah. And there's a lot of guys in the past that have done really well. Even Tyler last year, Jack Willoughby, Kyle Clinton my freshman year. They all did really well. And same thing with Blake, fully capable. It's just, if you do hit one a little off, it's up to the other guys to adjust. But it is our job to kick it in the corner.
Were you
Is there a
specific spot on the ball that you're aiming for? And if so, how big is that spot? Is that an inch square? How do you?
About an inch square, yeah. Kind of third of the way up the ball, right behind. And that's, there's no real aiming to kicking. You kind of line up. You always kick the ball straight. So we're aiming at that corner. So you just line up at that corner and kick the ball straight. You don't even really want to think about the lines. The lines on the field. So, yeah, it's really there's no. I'm not trying to curve the ball there or anything. I'm really just trying to kick the ball straight. And I think a lot of times you let those lines on the field get in your head. And make it a lot harder than it is. And that's why people. Don't hit the spot by people. I mean, me and Blake, I guess.
Sean, do you skateboard?
I don't.
Okay.
I really like this shirt, though, and this brand. That's
Okay.
why I have these sweatshirts.
I just didn't know.
A lot of people ask me that. Yeah, right.
Skateboarding and groin injuries. I didn't.
Yeah, no. I think I had a skateboard like 15 years ago.
Okay, so just the shirt.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't skateboard.
So Urban obviously has expressed concern
Yeah.
a couple times this season with
Right.
the kickoff. Will it be where it needs to be for Penn State?
I think it is. We got a lot of work done today, and I think the main thing for me, if I do kick off, is I've been in a really good groove in field goals. I think I let some of those kickoffs, the touchdown they scored, kind of get in my head before I kicked that field goal that I shanked off against whoever that was, against Maryland, I guess. And I think that's a main concern for me kicking off, is not letting, if there's a bad kick, if something happens, let it affect my field goals and those things. I think it'll be where it needs to be. We're kind of working out what we're going to do. We hit some really good balls today, so I think it's really good having this bye week. We don't really have to worry about resting our legs and being at full strength on Saturday. We can really kick a ton of balls today and tomorrow. Just kind of work on those kicks to the corner.
I don't even know how to phrase it in a question, but obviously Penn State blocked the punt and blocked the field goal.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
This is the kind of game that special teams
for sure
wins the game.
Yeah, and it was the same thing last year. We had that game won, really. That field goal, even if the field goal would have missed, it's still, we're up by like 4 points, whatever we were up by. And it's really, we are working hard. The line's working really hard, and punt. Obviously there was just some miscommunication on the punt last year that got blocked. And those are things that shouldn't happen, against Penn State or anybody, really, So, yeah, we're working just as hard as we do every other week. Obviously, this game we won a little more, because of what happened last year. So, but yeah, we're preparing the same as we always do.
That's why I asked all the questions at the start about the extra points, because usually we only ask you guys questions when you mess up.
Yeah, right. Right.
Sometimes you don't, it's like, oh, you made an extra point, big deal.
Exactly. Right.
One thing goes wrong.
Yeah, it's a huge deal.
You want the game on your foot, right?
Yeah, and I think that
down to you?
Right, and I think that's the thing that's different for me this year, the confidence level. I think in the past couple of years ago, where I'm like, I really don't know if I want it to come down to me. This year, I'm confident enough to, obviously I want us to win by 10 touchdowns, but if it does come down, I'm confident, that I'll get the job done.
Do you go back and watch that Penn State field goal at all? Or
No. Yeah, right, and that's the last thing I really worry about is the line and blocking. I think once I start worrying about that stuff, it screws me up. I'm confident those guys are going to do their job, and I'll, go out and do mine. So.
You mentioned your legs stronger.
Right.
What's your range? Like, if you feel comfortable from X range?
Really, unless there's any inside 60, I feel comfortable. Really, unless there's some sort of wind against me, especially if I've got some wind at my back. I think really weekly, I'm out hitting from 57 live with the team. Really, if I don't hit from there, it's kind of a disappointment almost. So, yeah.
Sean, go back a second. Has it been reinforced to you guys what happened in that game last year, like you were just talking about? Obviously, you weren't the kicker, you weren't the leader, you weren't the snapper, but you were in the specialist room when when the goop fell on y'all.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, what's been reinforced, I guess, how you can lose a ball game with special teams, right? I mean,
yeah, and I think we really haven't brought it up too much this year. I think it's one of those things that's in the past, but it really shows how much, something like that, and it's just such a freak play, even, you, like I said earlier, you miss that field goal, it's still fine. You're up 4 points, a couple minutes left. It really takes one of those freak accidents for them to block it, get the ball, and score a touchdown. I mean, that doesn't happen that often, so.
But, when you watch video of that play also, a Penn State player pulls
yeah,
one of
and it's
y'all's
kind of
blockers out of the
iffy
way,
play,
the other
whether
guy
that's
goes
allowed
through.
or not.
Right.
Right.
I mean, so I guess what's been reinforced, you think, up front? I mean, I'm sure y'all have talked about it.
Well, yeah, we talked about some of them. I mean, we got one blocked here just 2 weeks ago, so I know that's been a big thing we've been working on, making sure everyone's form and everything is correct, and all those different things. And that's if everyone, does the correct technique, the correct form, there's no chance of anybody getting through. There's really not. So it really just takes kind of, I guess, like a mental error for somebody to just, completely screw up for someone to really come through.
In this modern game, what is the kicker's nightmare of a guy? Where you know what I mean? Where does he have to penetrate, you think, to have a shot? Does it have to come?
And I really think
as quick as you guys
we
get
can,
it off.
yeah, we can take care of the guys that come on the outside, even if the guy on the outside kind of misses and he comes through pretty clean. With a good get off time, you can kind of beat that almost. He has to come off perfectly almost to get that. It's really those guys that are right in the middle, because if they get 2 yards in there, there's still a lot of those guys are, tall, huge guys. They get up pretty high.
Yeah.
So even if you hit a good ball, that one I hit the other day that got blocked, I really, came off my foot. I was like, man, it's a bomb. Then half a second later, I heard another smack, which was unfortunate. But so I mean, those guys that come through the middle, that's a real problem.
Did we also learn last year Cam doesn't run a 4.340? I'm just joking.
He was moving though. I mean, he was there. They said that was like the fastest guy on their team. He was there.
Yeah.
Just our tackling drills, which we do every day now. Tackling drills.
Oh, you do?
We do.
Yeah. Because of that? I mean,
just in general, especially I had that one the other day, which I caught up. I was there. Just once I got there, I kind of forgot what to do. But dove and broke my arm almost. But
appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
You get to kick more today than you normally do because of the bye week. How many balls would you say you kick today, and how many do you kick during?
And I kick field goals Wednesday, Thursday usually, and I'm in a really good field goal routine. I hit quite a few field goals. But I never want to kill my leg. I don't want to get to Saturday and be dead. I think that's the one. I kind of went around the same today, hit a couple extra kickoffs. I think tomorrow's the day, once I get through field goal at the start of practice, where I can kind of go hit 20, 30 more balls. Wear my leg out a little bit, not to the point where I get hurt or anything, but kind of wear my leg out a little more. I know I've got till Monday or Tuesday, is the next time I'm going to kick field goals or kick at all. So it's kind of having that like 4 or 5 day break. I know I can really, go after it, get some good work in. So, the normal weeks, it's hard for me to really get, a lot of kickoff work in per se, because I kick so many field goals and I'm in this routine. It's where I hit 4 or 5 kickoffs in a day and I'm just completely dead, So that's the hard part, trying to prepare for all the things.
After a big blowout, you score 70 points. People are like, oh, the kicker's got to be tired kicking all the 70 points. I mean, are you, like, at the end of a game, do you feel the difference between a 70-point game and a 28-point game?
Yeah, and I think towards the end of the game, you always feel it, because, and I was thinking about this the other day, I warm up start warming up 85 minutes before the game. So by the end of a long game, I mean, you've been kicking for 5 hours, and just staying loose and just, your groin, all those muscles, it's hard to do for that long. So I think even if I don't really know if I feel much different on a 70-point game or 28-point game. It's really those last legs, those fourth quarter kicks, when you start to get real tired and start to wear out. Because even, if you're not scoring every time we get the ball, I'm hitting those balls into the net. Whether that one PAT is just kind of one extra kick. So it's really 5-6 extra kicks on a 70 to 28-point game, because I prepare the same way on the sideline, whether we score or don't. So it's really those live game kicks aren't what make you tired. It's really all the others staying loose for the 5 hours. So that's where I'll come in Sunday some days and someone's like, oh, you only kicked twice. I'm like, well, even if I kick 10 times, it's either difference between 60 or 65 kicks, because it's sort of the practice ones that kill you. So.
With going back to doing kickoffs and
right,
much of a change in mechanics between the two, and if so, how hard is that to adjust to for you, especially
right.
in spring?
Yeah, it's not really too much of a different like swing or anything. It's a little different because you are coming, like an inch off the ground, off the tee. So that's a weird thing. The 2 weeks ago when I kind of started, a couple weeks ago, started the kicking off, that's the main thing I wanted to work on, was coming from hitting a PAT or field goal off the ground to coming on the tee. That's what I did a couple weeks ago. A couple of them, I just hit the tee so hard or got under the ball so much because all I've done for the last year is, kick field goals. I haven't kicked off a tee at all. So it is a little, you come a little differently on the swing, just, you're an inch off the ground rather than off there. So that's the main difference really, but the way you swing and everything is pretty much the same. Yeah. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.